It doesn't matter how large or small they might be, businesses fail when they run out of cash. We saw that with Carillion, we saw it with Woolworths, and more recently we've seen it with ISG. When you can't pay the wages, the rent, or a key supplier, you're in trouble unless you can find additional funding, and quickly. Do you think smaller construction businesses recognise just how critical cash flow is, Laura?
Some do, yes. But some are too focused on winning contracts and building revenue. They don't see managing cash flow as part of their core activity.
Why do you think that is?
For many, when they set up their businesses, they do that to fulfil their passion, whether it be bricklaying, roofing, plumbing, or whatever their skill may be. They focus really on delivering the best possible service. They do a great job, but sometimes the background activities can get overlooked, or the resources that they need, they just simply don't have.
In my experience, sadly, it's often only when the money runs out that it becomes a key area of focus, and by then it's too late. Also, sometimes businesses fail to look within the business and overlook things like accumulated retentions or even unpaid invoices or balances.
Yeah, agreed. They don't often realise that getting support in the credit management activities from day one ultimately is what will reduce the likelihood of failure.
What do you mean by that?
Well, if they got the basics right, such as agreeing and confirming payment terms before accepting the contract, they're more than likely to be paid on time. There's more resources available through Top Service to collect against unpaid invoices or unrecovered retentions. So recently we engaged with a client ourselves that had a book debt of outstanding retention of 1.4 million.
Wow.
And some of that went back to being 2 years overdue. So after some discussions with them, the client entrusted us with a portfolio of these debts to sample. We successfully recovered 75% of the outstanding amounts, including the late payment charges, with some collections made within days of instruction.
It's amazing, isn't it, that retentions are small amounts that don't seem significant, and yet they accumulate so much. It's like the old sort of look after the pennies, the pounds look after themselves saying that makes it so important. So being paid on time means there's more cash in the bank, but businesses also need to monitor the incomings and outgoings regularly to ensure they've got funds sufficient to keep the business ticking over. Do they?
Like everything else, some do better than others, but when they don't monitor their cash flow, they don't know what's in their bank, and then that's when they're more likely to then be hit by that cash crisis.
Yeah, that's right. Of course, monitoring cash flow is vital, and it's good to remember that turnover is vanity, profit is sanity, and cash is reality. So if a business out there watching this is keen to look at their retentions and how Top Service might help, how do they get in touch with you?
Well, they can either access us through our website, through the Top Service website, or give us a ring on 01527 518 802.
Thank you.